Hello, 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 beautiful creatures of the internet. I am Mango Jones. I almost forgot to go live because I was listening to music. I did a whole dumb. But that's not the point. The point is, tonight we are doing Murdaugh Murder Theater, which is just the Murdaugh murder trial. But I've been asleep like all day. I am currently working, so we're gonna watch the trial from earlier. It's gonna be fun. Uh, Before we get started, down in the description, you will find links to the rest of the Stream Pervs family, the people that I share StreamYard with. They are all absolutely phenomenal people. People like Slim Living Cyborg, Pie Parrot, Dungeon Queen, Widow's Son, all of them spectacular. So be sure to go check them out. You will also find a link to my link tree. If you go to my link tree, there are wish lists for myself and my small human because, well, he is a small human. And he's adorable. You should buy him stuff, maybe, if you feel like it. I don't know. That's up to you. I have a trip coming up next weekend. If you would like to donate for me to enjoy my weekend away from my kids so that I don't get caregiver burnout, then you can donate to my Cash App, which is #Baby Killer Mango. Yes, all one word, Baby Killer Mango. So yeah, let's get into this. Before we start doing trial stuff, I really want to talk about the estate of Maggie Murdaugh, because this has been bugging me for months now. Okay, so Maggie Murdaugh, who was killed June 7th, 2021, along with Paul Murdaugh. Maggie Murdaugh's estate has been so fucking wonky since the beginning that I have to talk about it. So, when Maggie Murdaugh died, her initial last will and testament had her sister, Marion Proctor, the person whose affidavit you see right there. That's the affidavit of Marion Proctor. So, she was initially listed as the proctor of the last will and testament of Maggie Murdaugh. Her name was crossed out, and above it written was Maggie's father-in-law, Randolph Murdaugh III. That happened about 10 days after she initially signed her last will and testament, which was August 15th, 2005. And she initially wrote out that last will when, like, Paul and Buster were children, which makes sense, you know? And then in 2016, December 2016, Alex Murdaugh sold her the Moselle estate for $5 and, quote, love and affection, making it the most expensive property in the estate. The most expensive property in her estate was the Moselle property. Now, she gets murdered. He's just like, I don't want to handle her estate. So he hands it off to his brother. Okay, John Marvin Murdaugh. When he hands it off to him, he also fills out this thing that defaults him from having to be able to deal with it, which the state would essentially treat him as having died before she did. Now, there's a couple issues with that. First of all, technically the sale of the house was illegal because, well, he was already $2.5 million in debt. Okay? That's a whole thing. But he also had all of these lawsuits against him. Alex Murdaugh had the Renee S. Beach lawsuit for the wrongful death of Mallory Beach from the boat crash in 2019. You have Morgan Dowdy, who was Paul's ex-girlfriend, who was also injured in that boat crash. Then you have Miley Altman, who was also injured in that boat crash. Then you have Connor Cook, also injured in the boat crash. And Keith Anthony Cook, also injured in that boat crash. All of them gunning for this estate to ensure that money actually reaches their hands. Their lawyer, Mark Tinsley. Mark Tinsley does not fuck around. He does not play that game. So, bear with me. But, so, you have all of these people gunning for this estate. They're also suing Buster Murdaugh. Okay? And Alex Murdaugh is just like, I don't want anything to do with this. No way. But they won't allow him to just step out of that role without them going to court over it. And it does end up going to court. In fact, they had multiple mediations. They had what is called an ADR here in the state of South Carolina. It is an alternative dispute resolution. Now, something that you have to keep in mind is in the state of South Carolina, we have something called the Slayer Statute. Yes, it is called the Slayer Statute. If you murder someone to obtain their estate, the state will treat you as though you died before them so that you cannot touch that estate. So no matter what Alex Murdaugh was trying to do, it would all fall back to Buster, who is the only surviving son. So what the state of South Carolina did through this alternative dispute resolution was they decided right before Alex Murdaugh went to trial, like right before he went on trial for the murders, was, oh, hey, so we're going to sell Moselle. We're going to dismiss John Marvin as the executor of this estate with prejudice. And then Buster, we're going to remove from all these lawsuits with prejudice. So no matter what happens from here on out, Buster cannot do anything. Buster got his money. Buster gets about $500,000 from the sale of Moselle. But everyone else involved gets money, cannot sue Buster or the estates anymore. At least that estate. The estate of Paul, still up in the air. But it's just, it's so messy. It's so juicy. It's so good. And all of these people that are involved in these lawsuits are being called as witnesses for the Murdaugh trial. It's a thing. So, yeah, I had to get that off my chest because I've been sitting on this information for months. It's been bugging me. Hello. It's nice to see you. Red Shot, Sweet Potato Pie. Love you. Gorgeous. Skits Crasher, Barrow, Mickey Richards, J. Troy Doe, Jakai? J Gamer. Lovely to see y'all. So, why don't we get into some murder trial coverage? Shall we? I am in a great mood. We should all be in a great mood. We're going to watch some murder stuff. I'm going to be here for about 3.5, 4 hours, maybe, tops. So, also, I am going to open this up if you have any questions regarding the trial thus far. Oh, let me say something. Okay, so I got on Twitter yesterday and this morning, and I saw a lot of people flipping their shit over Mark Tinsley donating to the GoFundMe of Shelley. Shelley being the former caretaker of Alex Murdaugh's mother, Libby. There's nothing wrong with that. Legally and ethically speaking, there is nothing wrong with that. Mark Tinsley was acting as a private citizen when he donated to that GoFundMe. He is not her lawyer. He has never once been her lawyer. If you're going to strike him as a witness for donating as a private citizen to someone's GoFundMe, then you might as well strike all of the people that he represents from being witnesses because they are on the witness list. Legally and ethically speaking, there is nothing wrong with what he did, and if you think there is something wrong with what he did, you're stupid. It's as simple as. Let's continue. Oh, but yeah, if y'all would like to join me, there is a link going into chat. You can come in. It's cool. I'll just be very wary about who I let on. Very nice. There's my cursor. Also, I hope you guys are doing as well as I'm doing.
You may now be seated.
Good morning. Good morning. Mr. Tinsley. You may bring the jury.
Sitting there right now is Mark Tinsley, the lawyer for Renee S. Beach, the personal representative of the estate of Mallory S. Beach. Kenneth Anthony Cook, Connor Cook, Morgan Dowdy, and Miley Alt.
Thank you. Good morning. Good morning. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Day number 15, state's case. The last objection was sustained. And ladies and gentlemen, I want to remind you, when I sustain an objection, that means you're to disregard the question and any response. You may proceed.
Yes, sir, Your Honor. May it please the court. Mr. Tinsley, good morning.
Good morning.
Just to kind of reset the table from where we left off, you had testified about pursuing the case against the defendant over the boat wreck, correct?
Correct.
And you had communicated to the defense that the defendant was going to have to pay personally, correct?
Correct.
Not just the insurance.
Correct.
And you had been told
have
that
a
the
safe
defendant
drive,
was
Skits.
broke, correct?
That's correct.
And you had filed a motion to compel. Had you filed a motion to compel, states 402, seeking to identify
Hey,
the
hey,
bank
Alibis.
accounts that he had.
In October of 2020.
Should I have the elbow, please? On the screen. David, if you can help. All right. I think one of the things that you had also testified to is that just generally COVID had kind of slowed things down in the court system.
Ultimately, yes.
And then you had had some health issues that you were dealing with as well. Is that correct?
At some point, yes.
Now, see, I can personally testify to how slow COVID made the court systems here in the state of South Carolina. Because, see, my ex was set to go on trial on a state level for the DV stuff. But because of COVID, that got pushed back. He ultimately ended up going permanent solution before he was able to go to trial. But that's on him. That's his issue in his business.
At some point in time, did a hearing in the boat case that would include a hearing on this motion to compel that's on the screen get scheduled?
It did.
And when did it initially get scheduled?
My recollection is it was set for May the 30th, 2021.
All right, and let me show you an exhibit real quick.
Now, if y'all are looking for these motions to compel, if you go to that pinned comment at the top, there is the Google Drive of legal documents. If you go inside of it, it should be under Renee S. Beach, not the conspiracy, but the secondary Renee S. Beach file. All of that is there for you. Oh, hey, Lizard. Nice to see you. Oh, don't forget, you guys, next week on the 15th, I believe, Security Monitor Lizard and I will be eating five Code Red Mountain Dew hard-boiled eggs because we owe them for the charity drive that we ran for Indigenous persons. We did not meet our ultimate goal of $2,000, but that's okay. We are still going to eat the eggs. We still got over $900 to Indigenous charities, and that is what matters.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as States 404 and see if you recognize this document.
I do.
All right, and what is that?
That is a communication about the hearing. It's actually about a status conference about the hearing that's going to be on May the 30th.
Okay, all right, and what was the day of that status conference going to be?
May the 7th, 2021.
All right, and then look at the subject line on that and just take a look at that real quick.
Motions hearing May the 11th?
Yeah. Was that the date or was it May 30th for the motions hearing? To your recollection?
To my recollection, it's May the 30th.
All right. But this email is related to that particular hearing, is that correct?
It's related to the hearing on my motion to compel and some other hearings, yes.
All right. At this point, Your Honor, I move to admit States 404, I believe, without additional objection.
No additional objection.
And is that the particular email we were just discussing?
It is. And you're correct, the hearing was May the 11th.
May the 11th?
Yeah.
Okay. I haven't seen that. That refreshes your recollection?
Yes.
We'll show you now what's been marked as States 405. And have a take a look at that and see if you recognize this.
I do.
All right. Tell me what this is, please.
It's an email from Judge Hall, who had been assigned the case about the hearing. John Tiller, who was Alec's lawyer in the boat crash case, was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer about the same time, just before I found out I had cancer. And so he had a chemotherapy treatment that was going to run long the day of the hearing. He didn't always know when his treatments would be, but about a week before he would know. And so the hearing needed to be rescheduled to accommodate John's treatment.
All right. And just initially, when that request was made, what was the judge in that case's response?
The hearing would go forward as scheduled, and one of Alec's other lawyers could attend.
All right. So initially, the judge denied that continuous request. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And what happened after that that ultimately resulted in it being continued?
I sent an email. John Tiller was my friend, and I didn't object to continuing it. And then the judge had a status conference, and at that point, we continued the hearing until June the 10th.
In the course of this litigation, given that we were coming out of COVID, had the judge in that particular case been relatively aggressive in wanting to move this case forward, to your assessment?
The judge knew that I was in Florida receiving treatment and was accommodating that. No, he wasn't being aggressive at that time. It was when I was ready, and so I was back and we were ready.
And that's what led to this initial hearing, is that correct?
Correct.
But ultimately, you agreed to let this thing be continued, correct?
I did.
All right. Your Honor, this time I'd offer States 405 into evidence.
No additional objection.
Submitted.
And down at the bottom of this email chain, what's the date on that? Can you read there on your screen, or I need to bring it back to you?
May 5th, 2021.
And that's communication from whom?
That's from John Tiller to Judge Hall.
All right.
And that's relaying the need for the postponement for the chemotherapy treatment.
All right. And then there were the communications from you related to that, is that correct? Well, let me go right here. This is the response right there, is that correct, from Judge Hall?
That's the initial response, that he intended to go forward with the hearing as scheduled, and that Mr. Condon from the same firm could handle it.
Show you now what's been marked as Stage 406 and see if you recognize this particular document.
I do.
All right. And what is this? Tell the jury what this is, please.
That's an email from John Tiller. So after the email that's on the screen saying I intend to go forward, John Tiller sent another email explaining a little more detail what's going on, and that he had, I believe it says he had spoken to me and I had agreed. They were my motions. There were some other motions, but when it's your motion, you can agree to continue it if a party wants it continued and you don't object. And so that's what that's doing, is trying to get the judge to not go forward with the May the 11th date.
All right, Your Honor, this time I'd offer Stage 406 in evidence.
No additional objection.
Submitted.
All right, and the date on that particular email is?
May the 6th, 2021.
Did the judge ultimately, based on a series of emails, granted continuance on this motion hearing, correct?
Well, he gave us a status conference in which we did by video, and ultimately he agreed.
Okay. And what day was the motions hearing that included the motion to compel rescheduled for?
June 10th, 2021.
Going back to Stage 402, one of the matters that was...
Now, see, it's important to remember that. He did say that the hearing was scheduled for June the 10th. Mind you, on June the 7th, Alex Murdaugh was confronted about money missing from the law firm. His law firm, PMPED. The entire thing was he stole money. They knew that he had been stealing money. They were hitting him up, trying to figure out where that money went. And then Paul and Maggie got murdered that same night. Then on the 10th, it was pure coincidence, actually, that his dad passed away. But had he not killed Paul and Maggie, attention would have been on him about that missing money.
was on the table to be heard would have been your attempt to get compelled responses to this interrogatory from the defendant, correct?
That's correct.
Seeking identification of his bank accounts.
That's correct.
You remember what day of the week, June the 10th, 2021 would have been?
I believe it's a Thursday.
How'd you hear about the murder of Maggie and Paul?
I got a phone call sometime in the middle of the night, 11:30 after my recollection.
And that was on June 7th, 2021?
That's right.
Into June 8th, 2021?
I think I heard it's still June 7th when I hear about it, but yes.
On June 8th, 2021, did you have any conversations with any of the lawyers involved in the boat case or any communications?
I believe so. I think that it was more of, there wasn't a whole lot of consideration to be given to the fact that the hearing wasn't going to go forward. It was sort of shock and horror of what had happened, and nobody really knew what to do in the moment.
Of course, that hearing's not going forward after this,
It
correct?
did not.
Mind you, Paul Murdaugh had already been indicted on these charges. Paul Murdaugh had been awaiting trial for these charges. At this point, what Mark Tinsley was waiting for was a hearing to be able to try and get some sort of compensation to the families that had been affected by the boat crash. That's all it was. Paul was going to see his day in court had he not been murdered. Paul was going to get tried. He was going to get charged. But had he not been murdered, it would have gone forward in a much quicker manner, and it wouldn't have ended up with Alex Murdaugh being on trial for murder, and it wouldn't have ended up with Buster Murdaugh being dismissed with prejudice from multiple lawsuits, and John Marvin Murdaugh being dismissed with prejudice from Maggie Murdaugh's estate.
We'll show you what's been marked as States 407 and see if you recognize that particular document.
I do. This is an email from Judge Hall's law clerk. Judge Hall's over the boat crash case to me and the lawyer for Parker's, as well as about the fact that the hearing's not going forward.
All right, this time I'd offer States 407.
Additional objection.
So admitted.
What's the date of that email?
June 8th, 2021,
At what time?
4:24 p.m. I think there's an email from John Tiller that precedes this one that morning, but
Right. But ultimately, there were communications the following day that obviously we're not going forward with this hearing on the motion to compel, correct?
yeah, pretty much immediately.
And at that period of time, was there any date set in the wake of all of this for it to be reheard?
There was not.
In the wake of the murders, did you generally understand or have an idea of at least what had happened to Maggie and Paul, how they had been killed?
I did.
Just from media reports and the rest of it?
That's right.
And did that have any effect, that tragedy of their deaths, did that have any effect on your assessment of the boat case and how everything fit together, if things were how they initially appeared?
It would have affected, I mean, yes, it did, and it would have ended the case
It would have ended the case against who?
against Alex Murdaugh.
And explain that to the jury. Why? What had changed after this terrible tragedy?
Well, when you have a civil case, nice people get good verdicts, okay, just generally speaking. Yes, sir. Nice people get good verdicts. You really have to motivate a jury to want to help somebody in a civil case. And so if you compared, say, Attila the Hun with some sweet grandmother, it's a better result. It's the sweet grandmother. If Alec is the victim of a vigilante, nobody's going to hold him accountable. Doesn't make any difference what he did or how clearly what he did contributed. The case would be over against Alec. And so initially, it could have been over. It appeared that it was going to be over against Alec because I had other defendants. I had Parker's convenience store that clearly violated its rules. And so you wouldn't want a very sympathetic person in your case when you have somebody who clearly violated the rules and caused this tragedy. So it would have been over against him.
Now, keep in mind that Gregory M. Parker, at one point, he did file paperwork to try and convince people to enact maritime law, which makes zero sense because his property is on land. Yeah.
The sympathies of the case had changed if Alec had truly been, his family had been the victim of some vigilante or something like that.
The sympathies would have changed if that had been true.
And assessing those sympathies and those emotions in a case like this is what you do as a plaintiff's lawyer, is that correct?
It's what we try to do.
And it's what Alec Murdaugh used to do as well when he was a plaintiff's lawyer.
I think he was good at reading people and knowing what made them tick.
Thank you, Mr. Jensen. Nothing further at this time. Please answer any questions the defense may have.
Thank you.
Mr. Barber.
Good morning, Mr. Tinsley.
Good morning.
Almost maybe just start asking a couple of questions that I think are just some things that we could agree on before maybe getting to some other things. Was there any life insurance for Maggie or Paul?
I don't believe there was any life insurance on anybody, including Alec.
And if this motions hearing, which was not just a motion to compel, it was other motions, correct, on June the 10th?
Yeah, there were some other motions.
And if that hearing had gone forward, at least for the motion to compel, this would have been another step in a process? Right. In other words, I believe it was your previous testimony. I think it's fair to say that there wouldn't have been an explosion on June the 10th, that this would have been another step, but it wasn't the end point.
So what happens?
Is that correct, sir? Yes or no? Am I misstating your testimony? There wouldn't have been an explosion on June the 10th?
You're jumping around.
Okay, so we already knew the last time that he testified on stand that there would not have been an explosion. Like, he's already gone over this. He has already said, without a shadow of a doubt, there would have been a slow burn, because what would have happened was that all of the names of the accounts would have been given to him, and he would have to subpoena each and every one of them. He is doing exactly what he did last time, in which I sounded like a disappointed mom. He's being a jackass.
So it's hard for me to follow.
I apologize.
Well, if you let me finish.
No,
Your Honor, I would like to ask the witness to be allowed to finish his answer to one of those questions, and I object to the form of the question.
Pose one question.
Yes, Your Honor. Did you previously testify, I think that it's fair to say there wouldn't have been an explosion on June the 10th?
I'm sorry,
Yes
you
or
were
no?
looking down. I couldn't hear what you said.
I'm sorry, I was reading it. I think it's fair to say that there wouldn't have been an explosion on June the 10th. Quote. Did you testify, did those words come from that stand when you previously testified, yes or no?
I'm not trying to give you a hard time. You looked down again, and I could not understand what you said.
To be fair, the defense lawyer in question does mumble. Fucking enunciate your words. You know that you're on camera.
Is there
I
an explosion?
apologize for that. I'll hold it up. I'm just trying to read it accurately. I think it's fair to say that there wouldn't have been an explosion on June the 10th. Yes or no, is that your testimony previously? Just yes or no.
It's
please.
possible. You're trying to turn it into something it's not, but I probably said words to that effect.
Okay. No further questions, Your Honor.
Any redirect?
You're asked about the motion to compel being another step in the process. Is that correct?
It was a way to put pressure on Alec.
But if, after that hearing happens, and an order granting a motion to compel had been issued, that starts a process that's going to run its course. Is that correct?
Objection, pleading.
If a order is, I'm sorry, I'll rephrase that. If a order to compel is granted, tell us about the process that happens after that as it relates to your specific interrogatory we've talked about here today.
Sure. The process starts on Alex's side way before. If you look at those exhibits that they marked the email, you'll see Danny Henderson. Again, Danny Henderson was his personal lawyer. Danny Henderson is also a shareholder in the firm. Danny Henderson is...
Oh no, he's not going to get sent to a fancy resort of a prison. You have to remember that as of right now, he is completely broke. Like, he is millions of dollars in debt. In fact, he was millions of dollars in debt when he signed over the Moselle property to his wife to be a part of her estate, which now no one holds because they were dismissed with prejudice. Hooray, legal systems.
Reviewing every single document, that's how meticulous Danny Henderson is. He reviews all of the account information before I get it, and nobody knows better what Alex's making than Danny Henderson. I mean, you'll see all these checks going out and all these payments being made, and Danny Henderson would have known. So the explosion...
Object, Your Honor. Objection.
Basis for the objection.
Foundation.
Response.
Your Honor, he is, speaking of
Response to the objection.
he has testified as to the fact of his interactions with that individual who actually brought him insurance documents to review. I think he has a basis to know.
Foundation. And your response to the objection.
I believe he has sufficient foundation to address that from his personal knowledge, Your Honor.
I overrule the objection. You may answer.
Thank you, Your Honor. For instance, I had subpoenaed the phone records, not only Alex, his father's, but we also had John Marvin, Alex's brother's phone records. Danny reviewed those records for a long time before I could get my hands on them. Danny was involved in everything. He was at every hearing. He was at every deposition. He was intimately involved in every aspect of the case.
If an order to compel is issued, what was going to be your next step if you had an identification of accounts by the defendant?
Subpoena those accounts.
And if those
Hey,
accounts
hey,
are
Bill
subpoenaed,
Portley.
can potentially people move to quash those?
They could move to quash, but Danny Henderson would have looked at the documents in anticipation that I could get them.
Speculation.
I sustain the objection.
If motions to quash had been filed, though, you could have continued to seek that and there would have been further hearings. Is that correct?
I would have continued.
Objection to sustain, that's the leading.
What would have happened if motions to quash were filed as to any subpoenas you issued for the specific information about the
Now, the thing is, there are multiple motions to quash that had been filed during the course of all of the lawsuits that Mr. Mark Tinsley there has been a part of. In fact, you can find all of them in the Google Doc that is pinned at the top underneath the lawsuit section. Multiple people had filed motions to quash their subpoenas. Right now, what this lawyer is doing, what the attorney general is doing, is speculating. And there is no room for speculation right now because it really is just a matter of what is and what is not in terms of what happened with the lawsuits at the time while Maggie and Paul had been murdered up until now. Also, hello, Hola Fola, Arxinium, Bill Portley, Sydney, John, Grayman, which I know you go by nobody important now, but you're still Grayman. Yeah. But what the lawyer is doing, what the AG is doing, is really wholly unnecessary to the trial itself, because all it is speculation. It's just like what the defense had been doing the last time that Mark Tinsley had been on the stand. It was all speculation, the what ifs. And those what ifs will never come to be because of where we're at. It's completely pointless. There is no point to this testimony right now.
defendant's accounts?
I would have continued to push, we would have continued to argue about it.
Would have a process been put in motion, though, that was going to conclusion if an order had been issued on June 10th, 2021?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Nothing further.
Anything further?
No, Your Honor.
Let's step down.
Thank you.
The next witness.
May it please the court. Your Honor, this time the state of South Carolina calls Ms. Blanca Simpson.
Be careful when you do it. Raise your right hand, left hand on the Bible. Do you affirm the testimony about the gift of the truth to help you God? Take a seat in the witness stand. State your name again for the record. Spell your last
Hey, hey, Miss Parker.
My name is Blanca Turrubiate-Simpson, Turrubiate-Simpson.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Is this difficult for you to be here today?
Yes, sir, it is.
Will you please tell the ladies and gentlemen of this jury, Ms. Simpson, about yourself, where you're from, your family if you want to, and just kind of what you've been doing in life leading up to today, generally, please?
Yes, sir. I'm originally from Brownsville, Texas. I joined the military at the age of 17. I was in Norfolk, Virginia for almost 9.5 years. I was stationed on the USS Puget Sound, USS Shenandoah, Naval Air Station Oceana right before I left.
What'd you do there?
Heavy equipment operator.
Okay.
And my husband was also a heavy equipment operator. We were both in the same field. We decided that the military was just not going to be a good environment for raising children, so we made a decision. Instead of moving to Texas, we moved to South Carolina, where he was from. And we have 5 children, 34, 31, 23, 21, and a 17-year-old. They're all been raised down here in South Carolina.
Any of them still at home?
Yes, sir, 17-year-old.
Where was your husband from? You said he moved back home. Where was he from?
My husband's originally from Gifford, South Carolina.
Say it again.
Gifford, South
Gifford.
Carolina.
Okay. And what does he do?
He's a police officer for Hampton.
When you came to South Carolina, you'd never been here before, correct?
No, sir.
Okay. What did you do when you got here besides the hardest job in the world, being a mom and raising kids? What else did you do?
When we moved here, we had enough leave built that we didn't have to work for almost 2 months. So I went to, after about a week, I kind of got bored because I'm used to having hands-on doing something. So I went to the local Piggly Wiggly store in town and I asked I didn't know he was the owner at the time. I realized he
Oh,
was the
thank
owner
you,
after,
Alibis. I
'cause
love
I
you.
could get a job because I
You're
was
amazing.
bored. And
How many kids do you have?
I have 5.
Okay.
But I only had the 2 oldest ones at that time. And so he said the only job he had was a stalker, and I actually had no idea what that meant because I had just
Okay, first of all, Mo, you shouldn't just come here for the Amish furniture. Yes, these summer evenings are very much fresh, but the Amish furniture is very clearly stolen. We just kidnap Amish people and allow them to use internet. It's a whole thing. don't come to South Carolina. Like, if you have the option to go vacation somewhere, don't come to South Carolina. Don't.
Graduated high school and went in the military, so I didn't know. But I told him I would take it as long as it would get me out of the house for a little bit. So I took that job, and then within a week, I got a call from another job that I had put in where it was brazing or welding at Scotsman, which is in Allendale County.
Okay, but to be fair, Alibis, you want to go here because we have African hair braiding bars, and we also have like this really rich Gullah Geechee society that has the greatest food in the world. Oh my god. Okay, if you're gonna come to South Carolina, go down to Charleston, go get yourself some Gullah Geechee food. It is the best.
And I figured, well, it offers benefits, and it would be better transition for the kids, dental, you know, that sort of thing. So I went there. After about 2 weeks, another job called me and had better dental medical benefits for my kids. So that was the first time I ever, well, I went to work for the South Carolina Department of Corrections.
When it comes to healthcare in South Carolina, the vast majority of employers do not offer dental, which is just such a weird thing to not offer. But if they do offer dental insurance, it's generally just like the bare minimum, like the cleanings and fluoride, and that's it. Like nothing great. You know what I mean? It's odd. John, it's okay. You put all of your focus into the boat stuff. Because I'm really fucking interested about the boat stuff.
I opened up Ridgeland Correctional Institution. I was the first class to graduate from Ridgeland Correctional Institution. I worked my way up from correctional officer to sergeant. I managed the outside details and the road crew on the interstate. Also, a crew that would go out to Hunting Island for maintenance to assist with the park rangers. In 2001, I was offered a job at the Federal Bureau of Prisons, and I accepted the job. So I left Ridgeland Correctional Institution, went to work for FCI Estill, Federal Correctional Institution, Estill, South Carolina, where I stayed until 2007. My job, basically, I started back from the bottom as a correctional officer, and before my year's up, I got promoted to the Special Investigative Support Tech Office, where I was responsible for managing, producing reports, weekly reports, and also profiling the Hispanic gangs, because there was not a lot of staff members that were bilingual. So my job basically became profiling, interviewing, and associating members, the inmate population with gangs.
And how long did you do that?
From 2001 to 2007.
Not that anybody cares, but is that when I first met you?
Yes, sir.
Did you help me arrange a meeting with a prisoner I need to interview?
Yes, sir.
And why did you leave that job?
Just burned, when you're the only, one of the only ones in the office that's bilingual, and you're constantly getting called out for different incidents dealing with a Hispanic population that had grown out quite a bit from the time I got there, and still having to do your daily duties in the office, and nobody's helping you, you tend to burn out pretty quick. So
If an
I
incident,
made a decision to leave.
so if an incident happened when they needed a translator, your phone got called?
I had to stop what I was doing and respond to whatever incident dealing with the Hispanic inmates.
What did you do after that?
I went into real estate for a little bit, which was not so good because that's when the market crashed.
And again, for the jury's edification, what year is this when you quit the prison?
2007
And you're living where?
in Brunson.
I'm sorry.
Brunson.
So how long did you stay in real estate?
Maybe about a year and a half.
Your family's grown at this point, I presume?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And did there come a point that you met the defendant, Alex Murdaugh?
Yes, sir.
Can you tell them how that happened? Tell the ladies and gentlemen how that transpired?
When I first moved to Gifford with my husband, like I said, I was bored, so I went to work at the grocery store. At the grocery store, and during the time that I moved, there was not a lot of Hispanic families living in that area. It has since grown in the years. I met a lady who I befriended. You know, she was Hispanic, and we started talking because she was the only other Hispanic person that I had actually seen in the area. So we started talking back and forth, and it was nice to speak in your native tongue with somebody. Her son had an accident at the school on his way after school, walking to the car, and he had gotten hurt. One of the ladies that worked at the school had recommended that she use an attorney from Walterboro. And a couple of months had gone by, and I noticed that she was under a lot of stress. And as I talked to her, she said, "I just have to get all these documents. I don't understand." She spoke English, but it was very broken English. So she was having a difficult time explaining what she needed for the attorney. So I told her, I said, "I'm gonna find you an attorney. I'll look around." I said, "And we'll go ahead and fire that attorney and hire you a new one." And, because we didn't want the statute of limitations to run out on her case. So at that point, I started looking around, and I happened to walk into the law firm. And it was the old offices where I met Alex.
Just walked in, and that's where you met the defendant, Alex Murdaugh?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and you were trying to assist this individual who was having trouble communicating with her prior attorney, don't mention whoever that attorney was, but you helped her get a new attorney.
Yes, sir.
Did you help with that case, that particular case with this friend?
Yes, sir. He told me he would take the case.
Who is he? Who's
Alex told me he would take the case as long as I translated and helped him with the details. Because he didn't have anybody in the office that was bilingual, and I agreed.
You were a hot commodity, weren't you? I mean, there was a need for translators.
Yes, sir.
So you helped with that case?
Yes, sir, I did.
Did you assist in other cases with
Yes, sir, I
Alex Murdaugh?
did. At times, Alec would call me and ask him if I could assist in translating, or when there were accidents and the folks were injured, and if they did not speak the English language, he would ask me to translate.
And were you getting paid for this?
Okay, so I did the thing so people out of the country that would like to donate to the channel, there is the paypal.me link, which is paypal.me/MangoJones69. Again, you don't have to do that. There's so many other ways that you can support different things. There is the National Abortion Fund, which I fully endorse and hope that people will donate to, because it is really important right now. Yeah, so there's that.
Service?
Yes, sir. It wasn't a set fee. It was just depending on the case, whatever I did, whether it was to get them signed up with a law firm, basically, or if I had any type of, in the Hispanic community, when you are in trouble or you're in need of something, and a lot of times those accidents, when they happen in the area, they are not from here. The language barrier is a big thing for them. So my instinct was more to make sure that they were well accommodated and whatever they needed. So sometimes he would reimburse me for my out-of-pocket whenever I helped the individuals, who were in the accident.
And that went on for a period of time when you were assisting either Alex Murdaugh or the law firm, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Did that change into a caregiver, if you will, or respectfully, I don't mean housekeeper or whatever term you'd like to call it, for Maggie Murdaugh?
Yes, sir. Alex had called me and said Maggie was looking for a person to help her in the home. And at that point, real estate wasn't really doing much for me, and so I told her I couldn't find anybody. I had asked around, and at that point, I told him, I said, well, I'll help her. And he was like, are you sure? I was like, yeah, I'll help her. I said, it's no big deal to me. It's honest work. So I said that I would help her.
You were clearly qualified.
Yes, sir.
So what did you start doing for either the Murdaughs or Maggie Murdaugh?
I started helping the other ladies in the house with the cleaning, with running errands, running to the bank for her, whatever she needed me to do.
And when did that start, Ms. Blanca?
Hey, Reaper. How are you?
In 2007.
And were the two young children, or the two children, Paul and Buster Murdaugh, were they younger at the, obviously they were younger when you?
Yes, sir, they were young.
And would you have interaction with them and/or Alex Murdaugh during this time period?
Yes, sir.
How often were you working for the Murdaughs?
At that point, it was maybe every other day, depending on how often she needed me.
And where was that? Where specifically were you
Hey,
working? Where was
Lucifer.
your house?
At the house on Holly Street in Hampton.
How long did that go on before you stopped? And tell them why you stopped.
Now, okay, so when you have a big property like the Moselle property, the Moselle was considered a commercial property. So they would rent it out to people. It would be something that other people could go to and enjoy without the Murdaughs being there. So her job essentially was to make sure that everyone working within the Moselle was doing what they were supposed to do to keep the place up and running. They would have hunters come out and rent out the property. They would have people trying to take a vacation with their family, everything like that. It was a commercial place.
Stopped.
I worked there with them on and off, like I said, not on and off, I shouldn't say that. Every 2 to 3 days, or it wasn't a daily thing at that point. Then I did go probably about maybe.
Hey, user 2, nice to see you.
I can't recall, it was a few months later or a couple weeks later. There was an incident at the house, and somebody had tried to burn the house. So that's when I actually went and started helping her more full-time, because she had to go through a lot of the damages and all that. I helped her document a lot of whatever damages were done from the diesel and stuff that was spilled all throughout the house by the individual.
And maybe I wasn't clear in my question. Did there come a point where you had some health issues?
Yes, sir. At one point, I suffered a stroke, and I had to stop working and go through rehab for a while.
And what year was that?
Yes, John Coyote. The Moselle property was very much a fancy property. It was a 1,700 acre property. It was huge. It was gorgeous. It was everything that you would want it to be for a hunting property, with outdoor kennels, indoor kennels, storage area, woodworking shop, wooded all around. Like, it was ideal. It was perfect.
17 and 18, maybe?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So prior to your stroke, and you had to go to rehab, how long did you work for the Murdaughs?
That was a few years by then.
How long were you out after you had your stroke, Blanca?
Maybe almost 4 years.
Did there come a point where you went back and started working with Alex, with the Murdaugh family?
Yes, sir.
And tell these folks when that was.
Shortly after the boating accident, I reached out to Alex and Maggie, and I told them if they needed anything that they could call on me. And at that point, Maggie said that she would like for me to come back if I was able to. So I told her I would. At that point, I was feeling better, so I told her that I would go back. And once I went back, it was like I actually never left.
I was just informed the stroke was in 2015, not 2017. I
Yes,
apologize.
sir. Yes, sir.
So after your recovery, you started working and actually called them, the Murdaugh family, and said, if y'all need anything.
If y'all need anything, you know, I'm here.
And I don't think anybody will dispute, that was in February of 2019?
Yes, sir.
Time period?
Yes, sir.
So when you went back to work with the family after the boating accident, tell these folks, what were your duties then? What was your job?
I started right back at the same thing. I was helping with the cleaning. I was helping running errands. I would cash checks. I would, and what I say by cashing checks for Maggie, sometimes she didn't have time or she was busy doing other things, so she would send me to the bank to cash checks, to pay the people that she had working around the house. The main.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yes, sir. The maintenance line, you know, that sort of thing, whatever she was doing around the house.
And where were they living, the Murdaugh family, at this point in 2019?
Both places,
Okay, tell the folks where both places.
Moselle and Hampton.
So you're working at both residences?
Yes, sir, both.
And did there come a time where they moved exclusively for the primary residence to, well, where was their primary residence?
Their primary residence was Holly Street, and once they sold the house, they moved straight into Moselle, full-time.
We hadn't heard much about Maggie, and I'm limited what I can say in a murder case, but did y'all get fairly close?
Yes, sir.
And when you had quit working for her and you had your stroke, did you ever see her during that time period when you weren't working for her?
Yes, sir. Maggie would, I would see her in town, and she would often signal me to pull over. So we just used to stop sometimes and just talk and see how things were going at the local CVS,
Just to catch up?
just to catch up and see how everybody was doing.
And prior, when you were working and after, would you, and I'm not asking you to say what, but y'all got close and would talk personal things?
Yes, sir.
I'd like for you to go back in your mind now and take this jury back to June 7th, 2021.
Yes, sir.
You were working there for the Murdaughs then?
Yes, sir.
That's a Monday. Do we all know that, June 7th?
Yes, sir.
When had you worked prior to that? At
At-
the Moselle property for them?
Friday.
And at that point, had you seen, what family members did you see at Moselle on Friday, which would have been the June 4th of 2021? Do you remember?
Paul?
And what was your interaction with Paul that day?
Paul walked through the door, his usual self. I was walking out of the laundry room, coming into the kitchen, and Paul came in the front door, and he was holding a laundry basket full of clothes. And as he was approaching me, he saw me, and he said, "What's up, Miss B?" And I just looked at him. I said, "Boy," I said, "if you got all them dirty clothes and you want me to take care of that," I said, "I'm getting ready to leave." He's like, "Oh, come on, Miss B, you can help me out." He said, "I need them for the weekend." He said, I said, "Well, just pull a couple of them out, what you need, and I'll take care of it." And I ended up staying late to make sure that he had his clothing ready for the weekend.
So did you wash the clothes for the entire family? Was that part of your?
Yes, sir, I did.
And did Paul leave that Friday?
Yeah, I saw him leave. I don't know whether he was actually gone for the weekend or if he was still.
Did you ever see him again?
No, sir.
Did you have regular hours in June of 2021 that you worked at Moselle for the Murdaugh family?
They weren't really set hours. Maggie was pretty, she was just easygoing. If I had stuff to do, if I had stuff to take care of, she wasn't really too keen on any specific hours. So, you know, if I had a doctor's appointment or if I had anything, she'd be like, okay, no, her main comment to me always was, "No worries,
No worries.
no worries."
Well, June 7th specifically, were you scheduled to work at Moselle?
Yes, sir.
And did you have contact with Miss Maggie Murdaugh sometime prior to getting to Moselle that morning?
Yes, sir.
And I think it's in evidence, but tell these folks what contact you had with her.
She texted me and asked me if I could stop at the grocery store on my way to Moselle because Alex wanted some Capri Suns.
Some what?
Capri Suns.
Okay.
And she said apple, and I believe she said pineapple first, and then they changed. She came back with another text and said, no, he wants orange, I believe that's what he said. That's what the text said. I'm not.
And did you try to get some orange Capri Suns?
Yes.
Where'd you go?
I went to the Food Lion.
And were you successful in your search for
No,
orange
sir.
Capri Suns?
No, sir.
I'll show you what's marked States 54, Sparker. Excuse me, Defendants 54 for the record. Did you have any other text with Miss Maggie before you got to Moselle?
Yes, Maggie told me she had to go to a doctor's appointment, and she said that in the text, Maggie said, Alec wants me to come home. And she said, and in a phone conversation, she told me, she said, I left some food in the refrigerator. Is there any way that you can cook? Paul likes the way you cook. So she said, because I don't think I'll be back in time. So I said, yeah, sure. I said, I'll do it. So it was nothing. I finished what I was doing, and then I started cooking, making sure the meal was ready for when Paul and they arrived at home. Well, that afternoon. And we had another conversation on the phone where she told me, she said, Alec wants me to come home. And she kind of sounded like she didn't want to come home. Because she really liked being at Edisto. and they had a lot of work that was going on, and she was trying to make sure everything was ready for the 4th of July gathering that she was planning. So she was very detail orientated, so she wanted everything perfect. So she was kind of, she sounded like she was a little disappointed. And then she said, well, Alec asked Paul to come home too, because he's got to fix the mess up out there that CB had done.
That CB Road?
Yes, sir. And he said Alec had told Paul to come and fix it because they were planning on having a hunt that weekend, so he wanted everything ready and good to go.
So he'd asked Maggie to come, and then he had asked Alex to come.
That's what Maggie,
Paul to come.
Paul, that's what Maggie told me over the phone.
And looking at Defendant 54, can you read that? Text?
He said, thank you, I'm waiting at doctor. Alex wants me to come home. I had to leave. Door open at Edisto, but trust Mexicans to shut and lock for me. His dad is back in the hospital. The last doctor claims not cancer, it's pneumonia. And then she's got some emojis. She said, Alec is about to die. Hope he doesn't go down there to sleep. Needs to take care of himself as well.
And when she said, I trust the Mexicans to leave the door open, that didn't bother you?
No, sir.
Okay. When she said, I guess my question is, you said you didn't think she wanted to.
Mr. Meadows, you're standing in front of the jurors.
I apologize. When you had just testified you didn't think she wanted to come home, was work being done at Edisto?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And did she like being at Edisto?
Yes, sir, she did.
And when would she stay at Edisto?
Any chance she had.
Okay. Where was a time of year that she liked being there more than other times?
Yes, sir. Come around spring, summer, she preferred to be in Edisto.
And I guess, was she at Edisto the night, Sunday night, do you know? Where was she Sunday night?
I'm not sure.
Call speculation unless she knows.
She can answer if she knows.
I'm not sure.
Were you on schedule June 7th time-wise? Were you running late? What time were you supposed to be there?
I didn't have a set time to be there.
After you and Maggie talked and texted, did you go to Moselle?
Yes, I did.
And when you got there, was Maggie there?
No, sir. She had just left.
Was Paul there?
No.
Was Defendant Alex Murdaugh there?
Yes, he was.
Okay. When you walked in the house, was he up?
No, sir. He was in bed.
He was in bed. Based on the time you spent there and your experience with the Defendant Alex Murdaugh, was he a morning person?
No, sir.
No, sir. How long were you there working before you saw Alex Murdaugh? That morning on June 7th of 21?
Probably a couple hours.
And can you tell these folks, did there come a point that morning where he left the house? Alex Murdaugh, did he leave and go to work or
Yes,
wherever?
he did.
Okay. And can you tell them what he was wearing, Alex Murdaugh, best of your memory, when he left Moselle?
He had a pair of khaki pants, greenish, I call it seafoam color, polo shirt, and he put a sports coat, a blue sports coat over it. And he put his shoes on, which were usually right there next to a dresser that they had right there in the living room area. That's where his shoes used to go, right there, so he just used to kind of slide his shoes on his way out the door.
Do you remember what type of shoes he had on June 7th, 2021, when he left?
His regular work shoes, the brown, there was a pair of brown leather shoes.
Was it a long sleeve shirt or a short sleeve shirt he left on?
The polo's a short sleeve shirt.
And staying out of everybody's view, do you remember anything specifically about that shirt?
As he put his coat on, he was putting his shoes on, and he was putting his coat on, and he was getting ready to walk out. He turned around, and I said, Alec, I said, hold on a minute. I said, your collar's sticking up. So he turned around, and I fixed his collar inside his jacket, because one collar was sticking up
So
on
you
his
actually
shirt.
helped, I'm sorry, but you helped move his shirt?
Yeah, yes, I did.
And you said it was a long or short sleeve, I'm sorry.
That polo is a short sleeve,
And did it have buttons on part of it, or do you know?
just from here to here.
And was it a blue blazer
It
you
was-
put on top of it?
It was a dark color.
He put a tie on? He didn't have a tie with that on.
No, sir.
I just, there's ties anymore. Now, Miss Maggie had asked you to fix dinner for the family. Did you do that?
I did.
Can you tell them what you made?
She called it steak burger, but it's cube steak and gravy, some white rice, and some green beans.
You're a good cook, aren't you?
Yes, sir.
Did you see or talk to Maggie ever again after this text or this phone call?
Before I left Moselle, I texted her and I said, the dinner was on the, I believe I texted to the effect that I left dinner on the stove for them. And, that I can't really remember the text, but I did text her and let her know that the dinner was ready and that I was leaving.
And you said one of her phrases she used is "no worries." Had she said that to you that day?
Yes.
When was that? It doesn't matter.
I can't remember.
You got a family of your own, right?
Yes, sir.
Did you, when you left Moselle, what did you do?
Pick up my son at school.
And your husband's working?
Yes, sir.
Law enforcement?
Yes, sir.
And when you got home that night, did anybody call you that night?
No,
When did you hear about the murder at Moselle of Paul and Maggie Murdaugh?
the next morning when I was getting ready to go out there.
The next morning?
Yes, sir.
How did you hear?
Alex called me.
And what did he tell you? He didn't call, he called you the next morning.
He called me early the next morning.
And what did he say to you?
He sounded shaky on the phone. You could tell he was.
Okay, wait, hold on. John Coyote. Know what a Capri Sun is. Okay, so they're basically little juice pouches. That's it. It's just a foil pouch of juice with a straw. They're really fucking good. If you cut them open and you pour some tequila or vodka in them and then seal them up with a lighter, people won't know that you opened them and put alcohol in them, and you can sneak them into venues. Not that I know from experience. Oh, hey, Bipolar Noir. Yeah. Well, here's the thing, though. So the Kool-Aid Jammer pouches, they also have a yellow straw. They're just about $1.50 cheaper. Yeah. I don't know what you mean that I'm a heathen. I mean, my son loves the Kool-Aid Jammer pouches with the yellow straw, you know. They're just cheaper. I just like to have mine with alcohol. It's just a preference. It's a thing. I'm not a heathen. Kinda. Maybe. Yeah. Anyway.
His voice sounded really shaky. And he said, B, they're gone. They're gone. And my initial thought was, did she go back to Edison? That thought didn't cross my mind that he meant that they were dead at that time.
You just didn't comprehend
No,
what was
sir,
going
I
on?
did not. So he told me again, he said, no, B, they're dead. And at that point, I don't remember because I believe I dropped the phone, my husband got the phone. I don't remember after that.
You literally dropped the phone.
Yes,
And did your husband get on the phone?
Look, we're not here to discuss the terrible things that I do with children's drink pouches. What we're here to discuss is the fact that Richard Alexander Murdaugh is terrible at telling people that other people have died. Because when they were at the hospital, after the Mallory Beach incident in which she died in a crash caused by his son who was drinking, he was just like, yeah, they're gone. Yeah, she's not coming back. Like, he is very much not good at dropping bad news.
I don't remember. I don't remember. All I remember is when he said that they were dead. I dropped the phone. And I believe I said, I'll be right over. I'll be right over.
Yes, Paul Murdaugh was very much in trouble with the law. If you go into the Google Doc that is pinned at the top of the comments, there is a section called Boat Crash / Shooting Incident. Inside of there, you will find the indictments and warrants for Paul Murdaugh's arrest in the boat incident from 2019, as well as his bond conditions. So yes, he was awaiting trial for the boat incident before he was murdered.
Did he, the defendant Alex Murdaugh, tell you which way to go when you got to the house?
He said him and Buster were at Almeda, so I told him I was going to Almeda. You know, I want.
We don't know if there were Capri Suns on the boat. We just know that there was a shit ton of alcohol. There should have been Capri Suns. Capri Suns are the best. That's neither here nor there.
Wanted to make sure they were okay, and so I went from my house to Almeda. And then when I got ready to leave Almeda, he said, well, when you go to the house, go in the front because there's a lot of sled agents by the kennels. You can't go in that way. And he said, just try to straighten up the way Maggie liked everything, you know, in the house. He said, you knew her the best. He said, you know how she likes stuff. So I did. I went to the house.
So you went to
I went into Moselle from Almeda.
to start with.
Yes, I did.
Okay, so what she is saying is that she was at Almeda first. Almeda is another one of their properties. And then she went over to Moselle after Alex Murdaugh called her. He wanted her to straight up just... And yes, bipolar noir is absolutely right. It's spelled Capri, like Capri shorts, Capri, Capri. Capri pants, spelled the same way. Capri. Capri. Anyway, thank you all for being here for this. We are about an hour and 24 minutes in. If you have not already, be sure to go down to the description. There are links to the other members of the Stream Pervs family. We are the people that share the same StreamYard. We do all sorts of random fuck shit on the internet. If you would like to support the various research projects that I do, as you can see by the Google Drive that is pinned at the top of the comments, there's a lot of legal documents there. I do a lot of legal research, even though I am not a lawyer. I am in no way, shape, or form a legal entity or body. But I do enjoy this type of research. If you would like to support the channel, there are links in the link tree. There is also the Cash App, Baby Killer Mango. I do stuff when it comes to cases like this. I am also covering the Delphi murders, and I do a lot of stuff that has to do with fundamentalist Christianity, because fuck fundies. Fundies are the worst. There you go. I did my whole spiel. Let's go. Yes, and Capri. Capri. What'd you find? John, what'd you find? Okay, you got me distracted. What'd you find? Sorry, you guys, this is going to be all over the place. Like, I'm having a night. I'm not on my meds. Just so you know. Y'all have a medless mango. Let's do this. We've got Murdaugh Murder Theater. We've got fundamentalist Christian shit. We've got stuff with the boat. With John Coyote. Like, what'd you find, John? I'm here. Also, I've lost like 10 pounds. You can see it in my face and it's really cool. But like, that's neither here nor there either. Just, I feel good. John has wild stuff. We're waiting to hear back from John on his wild stuff.
To check on my Buster and Alec.
To comfort them.
Yes, sir.
And at his request, you went to Moselle to start cleaning up and getting the house in order.
Oh. Really? So they had stopped their engines before they sank? Huh. But wait, why did they stop their engines? Like, what was going on with that? What was the point in stopping their engines? Did something bad happen? They were just like, okay, we have to stop and wait? I'm curious now. Okay, but back to Murdaugh Murder Theater.
Yes, sir. Said there was going to be people probably stopping by and bringing food and stuff. He said, I just want the house to look the way Maggie would like for it to look. So I said, okay. And I went to the house. I
Did you have a usual way that you went in to Moselle, entrance-wise?
from the house, I would, if I was coming from my house, I would come in.
Yes, the people on the 1927 boat that we're currently talking about had to save the Capri Suns. It's all about saving Capri Suns, people. The Capri Suns are the ultimate. Oh. Oh. Okay, so I'm like super fascinated to find out like what's going on with that boat, because that boat has a whole lot of issues and we're probably going to have to do a stream on that boat. Just saying. Because this is all super fascinating shit. Oh my god. But yes, we have to save the Capri Suns. Always save the Capri Suns.
In on the, I call it the Miley side. So I would actually enter the property through the kennels. And if I was coming from Hampton, or if I, you know, in the other direction, then I would use the front entrance. But normally.
Okay, so for those of y'all that have not seen the property, the way that the property is laid out, there is an entrance, like a main entrance that goes straight over to the house. But then there's a secondary entrance that's further down on the road that takes you straight to the kennels and to the workhouse. So she's talking about constantly taking the secondary entrance. So actually, that is true. if you find the right spot on the neck and you stab it hard enough after you make a preliminary cut, then yes, you can make a trach hole using a Capri Sun straw. You cannot do the same with a Kool-Aid jammer straw because they are actually made from a different type of plastic. Yeah, it's a whole thing. You learn about it in caring for, well, special needs elementary school kids. It's one of the things that I had to learn about. It's fun, let me tell you. They were orange flavored, and those are, no, they are not scarce in South Carolina. You butthead. God damn it. Orange flavor is like the most common flavor here. I will fight you. That's not true. What you have to do is you have to make the preliminary cut using any type of semi-sharp object, and then you can stab it through. But you have to make the preliminary cut first, because without it, you cannot get through the layers of fat and neck that are present. Typically, you can use a pair of scissors, or you can use some sort of X-Acto knife. But yeah, you have to make the preliminary cut first. For more information on how to care for special needs kids, hit me up. Anyway.
Yeah, I use the kennel entrance.
Hi, I'm Mango Jones. Welcome to Murdaugh Murder Theater, where we talk about all of the things.
June 8th, right? Of 2021.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did you see anybody in the property before you got to the main house?
No, sir.
And when you got to the main house, take us right there. Like right now as you're walking in the house, what were your observations?
It was hard because I know she wasn't going to be coming back.
By the way, the link still stands. It's right there. If you would like to come in and talk about all of the random things, ask random questions about the Murdaugh trial as of right now. Talk about whatever the fuck you want. We're here. We're doing this. We're live. We're going to be here until about 2-ish in the morning. It's now midnight. So yeah, we got a couple hours. Let's go. Oh. Yeah, see? Exactly. As long as you have those tools, you are set. You can handle anything. It's all that matters.
And I didn't want to move. I didn't want to move her stuff. It was just a weird feeling going through when I unlocked the front door to get in. It felt cold.
You really cared for her, didn't you?
I did.
What'd you do when you got inside?
When I got inside, I didn't turn on any lights. I didn't do anything. I walked through the front door and I went in the kitchen. And I was kind of...
Water enhancers aren't the same. That's the entire point. Like, a pouch of juice is not the same as a water enhancer. And people would prefer the pouch of juice. At least in my experience. But, I mean...
I was kind of... When I looked in the kitchen, I kind of just stopped in my tracks and I looked at the stove. And I was kind of... I don't know what the word is. When I looked, and I noticed the stove, that there was no pots on the stove. It was kind of unusual because usually when they ate dinner the night before, the pots usually stayed on the stove. Very, very seldom.
Oh, I do have to forewarn y'all, when you go into the Google Drive, it is nothing but legal documents, because there are a lot of pieces of evidence that are not supposed to be publicly released. I do not want to cross that ethical line in which I share pieces of information that are not supposed to be shared with the public. There are things that have been shown to the jury that aren't supposed to be for public consumption, and that's okay. I want to be clear that everything within my Google Drive is legal documentation only.
Would she put, certain meals in the refrigerator? A lot of times it was just left on the stove until the next day. And the pots were not in the sink, and they were not on the stove. And then as I walked through, if you walk through the kitchen, like you're going to, from the kitchen, if you walk through the kitchen, if you go to the left, there's two freezer and a refrigerator, and the laundry room sat right there to the left. There's a back door to the back porch, and then there's the laundry room door. They're both right there. And as I turned to go to the laundry room, I noticed that her pajamas were in the middle of the doorway, right in the middle, laid neatly in the middle of the doorway going into the laundry room. It was her pajama pants, a pair of underwear, and her pajama top.
Was that unusual?
That was very unusual. Because she wouldn't lay her clothes out like that, not in the middle of the door like that. It just didn't look right to me.
And you took care of the house?
Yes,
You took care of the clothes?
yes.
And not to get too personal, but sometimes you can't help it. Were the underwear there with the pajamas unusual?
Yes.
Why?
She didn't wear underwear with her pajamas.
No underwear with pajamas. But that struck you.
No underclothes with the pajamas.
But that struck you as unusual, they were there with the pajamas.
Yes, sir, because the underwear appeared to be.
Oh, I'm sorry, you guys. I just got a little bit excited. So, my friend Timmy, who hangs out over on Shabisky streams, if y'all haven't checked out Shabisky, go check out Shabisky. Love Shabisky. He's great. But our friend Timmy is sending me another Kraken bottle for my collection, because I have these fancy Kraken Attacks bottles, and he has the Kraken Attacks Alberta bottle, and he's going to send it to me because it's empty. And he also offered to send me some ketchup Pringles. Hello? So, yeah, I'm a bit excited. I'm sorry. It's a great night. Murder trial notwithstanding. But yeah. So I'm going to get ketchup Pringles. Y'all want to know how those are? I'll let y'all know. Yes, Alberta. The Kraken Attacks Alberta is apparently one of the specialty bottles that they make. I have Kraken Attacks Ohio, and I have Kraken Attacks California, and I'm trying to collect all of the specialty drinks. Yes, I know. Pringles are technically potato crisps. I know. I am aware. I understand this concept. However, comma space, ketchup Pringles. We don't have ketchup Pringles here. I'm in South Carolina. I am where this trial is. Oh, no, actually, Bipolar Noir, I've been to Ohio quite a few times, but, this is the Kraken Attacks Ohio specialty bottle. It's a specialty bottle of Kraken liquor. Yeah. I absolutely adore this bottle. It reminds me of one of my last trips up there. And I'm actually super excited for my next trip up there. But that's my business. Yeah. Yeah. One of the next times I'm in Ohio, though, like, if you're near where I'm going to be, then I'm totally going to hit you up. We should hang out. Because you seem awesome as shit. You and your partner and your life seem, well, compatible to mine. I think we would have a fun time. Oh, where's the international market? Oh, I'm curious. Wait, are you on Twitter? Or on Discord? Either or? Ooh. Yeah, no, I've read so much about jungle gyms. Like, I keep looking them up because I like to look at the various meats that they have available. And with my culinary background, I'm just like, I want to cook all of the things. Yeah. Did I recently follow you on Twitter? Oh, shit. Okay, so not this time that I'm up in Ohio, but the next time I'm in Ohio, we'll definitely have to, like, get together. Because I can give you all sorts of recipes. I do have a culinary degree. So we can make all of the food and chill. It'll be great.
Clean, not dirty. They still had like fold marks.
And the pots, and I may have just missed it, you said, where would the pots end up when you found them?
After I looked at the pajamas on the floor, the way that they were set, I turned around and I said,
I go
"Well,
to
wonder where the
Korean
pots
markets
are."
around
So
here
I
all the
happened
time,
to-
so
well, I
yeah.
opened the
Yeah, I am.
refrigerator door, and the pots were sitting
I'm good with
inside
that.
the refrigerator with lids on them. And I was like, you know, who did this? I don't know at that point, but that was not normal for the whole pot to be sitting in the fridge.
Did you make any other observations in the house, the bathroom, or anywhere else?
In the master bathroom, was, her clothes were sitting next to the tub. It was a small pile of clothes right there next to the tub. And
Yes.
by the shower,
Okay, so just so everyone knows, gonna make time to see Bipolar Noir. We're going to have an amazing time. Gonna make all the food. It'll be the best. Whew. I forgot how much rum I put in that. Anyway, back to murder trial.
if you walk in the master bedroom, there's a big garden tub, spa type tub. And then right here is the shower, and there's a window. On the floor next to the shower was a slight puddle of water, a towel, and a pair of khaki pants. And then as I went to the left to see if there was anything else that was out, I looked in the closet, and in the closet was a white damp towel on the floor, and there was I'm pretty sure the t-shirt was white at one time, but you know, they get kind of dingy after a few years. But that, it appeared that a t-shirt had fallen off of the stack of t-shirts that were on top of the shelf right there in the closet. It was laying on the floor next to the towel.
Well, you took care of the home. Was that? Tell us how the clothes were laid out. The shirts.
So that's actually kind of really important because Alex Murdaugh, before he went over to his mother's house, and the housekeeper saw him on her night shift for the first time ever, he took a shower, he got dressed and ready, and he went over there. Excuse me? And so she's seeing the clothes that he had left behind at the house. At least some of them.
The shorts were, you're saying, up on a shelf with shirts. How were
In the closet, there was a shelf. There was some shelves, smaller shelves right here. Then there was some long ones. Maggie used to keep her clothes on these. And then there was a shorter one, kind of like little box-looking, up. Alex used to keep his clothes, his belts and stuff in that. And then on top, there was also an area where he kept T-shirts. They were folded and they were kept on the shelf.
What she's talking about are built-in shelving that you'll typically find in things like commercial residences, like Moselle, where you have built-in shelving beside the shower. So the longer shelves were Maggie's, where she kept her clothes and everything like that. And then the shorter shelves were Alex's. And at the very top is where he would keep his shirts. Ma'am, you probably came across evidence in a murder trial and you had no idea.
When you say T-shirts, I know what a T-shirt is, but I mean, were they T-shirts like I'm wearing right now, or were they T-shirts with pockets?
It was usually, they would be T-shirts, like if they would go, like when you go to a restaurant and they have like the logo of those type of T-shirts. He had a big collection of those.
I too have a big collection of various logo T-shirts.
And would you put them on the shelf?
Yes, sir, I did.
Did you iron T-shirts?
Yes, sir, I did.
And you washed all the clothes?
Yes, I did.
Did he have a certain place that he kept shorts versus long pants?
Yes, sir. When you walk in the master bedroom, when you enter the master bedroom, the bed was right here. At the foot of the bed, you had a dresser here and a dresser here. The right dresser on the top drawers were usually his underwear, his socks. The next drawer was his T-shirts. On the bottom drawer were the pajama pants that he would wear or his shorts that he would wear to sleep in. In the left drawer, and one sits on this side of the door going into the bathroom, and the other one's right here. On the left dresser, he kept his white T-shirts that he would wear under when he wore a suit. He would wear, the T-shirts were in one of those drawers. And then the other two drawers were shorts, the dressier shorts, and then the not so dressier shorts.
So you testified a shirt looked like it had fallen when you saw.
To be fair, it is only abnormal if you aren't a part of that person's life. You know what I mean? Like, I have a bestie, and I know how my bestie's house is laid out. I know where stuff is and where stuff goes, but I'm also part of their life in that way. I have another friend who I don't know shit about their house, and I constantly have to ask, oh, hey, where does this go? Whenever I'm helping them clean up, because I don't fucking know. In her case, she is a housekeeper. She is the head housekeeper, So she knows where everything goes. She knows exactly how everything's laid out and exactly how everything should be because she directs the other people that take care of the property. Like, so that's okay. Not abnormal, just part of life. And to be fair, Moselle is a big property. It's a 7-bedroom, 6-bathroom house, 1,700-acre property with an outdoor wood shop, an outdoor kennel, and wooded area surrounding where you can hunt for deer whenever. And to answer your question, Lizard, all of the Capri Suns, every of the Capri Suns, all of them. Is that going to be a thing on my channel now, just Capri Suns? Kind of okay with that. Love Capri Suns.
Saw it this morning?
Yes, sir.
June 8th, 2021, okay. Was it still clean?
Yes, sir.
Did you put it back?
Yes, sir.
My boss, Don Zelenka, just reminded me that the food that you cooked, did you look and see how much was eaten in the pots?
No, sir, I did not.
To be completely fair, 2 people had just been murdered. So if not a whole bunch of food had been eaten, that is perfectly understandable. There were just 2 murders on the property. The Damnation Game. I have not heard of the Damnation Game. We'll look it up tonight, though. Yeah, I'm curious about what that is.
Now, you said there was a damp time.
Yes, John Coyote. Ancestry does have a very extensive record of newspapers. Ancestry was able to tell me where my ex is buried, even though I didn't know. Small Human's dad. Because they kind of left me out of everything. That's a whole other thing that's for a different stream. They also were able to tell me using their extensive file of newspapers and everything exactly how many kids my grandpa's parents had, which was 12. Yeah. It's a whole thing. I love their extensive knowledge of everything.
Where was that?
In the closet, on the floor.
And I know what damp means, but when you touched it, did it feel?
It was damp.
Okay. What did you do with it?
Took it to the laundry room.
And you said there were some pants there.
Yes, sir, there's a pair of khakis by the shower.
And what'd you do with those?
Okay. So, speaking of a friend that's equally as nuts that just shows up. So, the last place I was living was an open door policy. If you know me, if you are that close with me, and you know my kid, and you are that close with my kid, you can show up at my house. I don't care. My friend Jojo, before he passed, he constantly would show up at my house with random people and be like, hey, they're not comfortable with the big party that I'm holding. Can you babysit them? So we would watch like Letterkenny and eat nachos, and I would feed them and make sure that they felt comfortable and safe. So that way they could like calm down and their anxiety could like subside before I would send them back out. Yes, Letterkenny. Love me some Letterkenny. I do have a Letterkenny Shamrockettes shirt. I do fully believe that Boots and the Ginger did fuck an ostrich. I know that they say allegedly, but I'm pretty sure they did fuck the ostrich. It all just points to them fucking an ostrich. Okay? It's just one of those things.
Took him to the laundry room.
Also, Shorzy has season
Yes,
2
ma'am.
coming out later this year. If you guys aren't watching Shorzy, watch Shorzy. Do it. Go. Now. I am so happy that y'all are my people. Y'all understand me. And an infused seltzer is the best way to go whenever you're having a long fucking night and you need to just go the fuck to bed. It really is. Exactly. Exactly. Like, my small human, I call him small human on here. Very few people know his name, but he is small human. If you're cool with small human, if you respect small human in his nonverbal autistic ways, you're cool with me. If we're all chill, if you can hang with small human, if small human respects you the way that you respect him, we're golden. See, this is why we do Murdaugh Murder Theater. We can talk about all the things while also watching a murder trial.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's stand for a moment.
Oh, taking a moment. Now, see, something that we all have to understand and respect about the judge that is on this stand is that he was a part of the South Carolina state school system before segregation was gone. Like, he went to segregated elementary schools. He has been through this shit. He knows what unequal rights are. So the fact that he is preceding this trial, the fact that he is the person that is in charge of everything, is perfect. Oh, Lord. Yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do, though. Like, let's be real. Yeah, mine's just small human, tiny tyrant. Because he is a tyrant. Right now he's in my bed, using my blankets. Asshole. But I love him. It's been 9 years. Almost 10. I'm only 30. Take a moment of silence for me. Ugh.
Please do not discuss the case.
Okay, so we're removing the jury. Why are we removing the jury? What are we about to discuss that the jury cannot be a part of? This is the part that always gets me. Whenever they have to remove the
Please
jury.
do not discuss your testimony. We'll take about 10 minutes.
Okay, so everyone's getting a 10-minute break. That's cool. That's fine. We can discuss whatever during that 10 minutes. So, what's going on, guys? Hi, I'm Mango Jones. Well, if you would like to join me on stream, there's the link. By all means, please do. We do stuff and things here. I'm assuming that someone needed a break. Because in big trials like this, Judge Newman has always been upfront that if you need to take a moment, you take that moment. You ask for a break. You do what you need to do to keep yourself sane during all of this. And that's respectable. Well, talk to me about ship things, John. I enjoy ship things. And yes, taking a break is absolutely important. Especially since we're going to be here for another hour and a half before I decide to go to bed. Because I know that if I don't go to bed in an hour and a half, I'm going to get fussed at for not taking care of myself, because my person always makes sure that I'm taking care of myself. What a butthead. So how are y'all? How's life? Anything new going on? Anything interesting? Oh, I haven't kept up with the cows. What's going on with the cows? Yes. Like, right now is my time to have to myself, so I decided to stream. I heard apparently, Callie is doing shit, but... See, I only have the one person, and he's pretty fucking great. He's my favorite. Absolutely adore him, but you know. Trying to keep the existential crisis at bay. Yeah, that's a thing. Yeah. But I don't know what's going on with Callie. Like, I know that she's big mad at Petty Fam, but at the same time, Petty Fam is only 4 people. It's just BGTV, Miss Parker, Yato, and Nova. Everyone else are petty people. So if she's mad at Petty Fam, she's just mad at 4 people. And it's kind of pointless. What's the point in being mad at 4 people? Well, I'm glad that you're lurking around, user 2. My streams are not that great, but I'm glad that you're around. She's mad at Sam and Yaba? Why is she mad at Sam and Yaba? They do, like, nothing? Except call people out when they're in the wrong? Makes no sense. Oh my god. Okay. Wait. Yeah. No. The Cali twerking videos, I can live without. I can. Oh, BGTV is the best. I absolutely adore him. If you guys aren't following BGTV, follow him. He's amazing. Um, it is all by association at this point. And something that we all have to keep in mind is that while there are certain people that you can do the whole guilt by association thing, BGTV is one of those people that has no guilt because he just does what he does. He is his own person. Miss Parker is her own person. There is no association to guilt by. Know what I mean? There's nothing bad going on there. Like, I do a whole bunch of shit with Miss Parker. I help her with a lot of research stuff. John also helps Miss Parker with a lot of research stuff, especially on the Kent Hovind front. And there's no guilt to be had because it is all public information. It's all public record. So, I don't know. It's dumb. Yeah, exactly. He is a fun and honest dude. Yeah, exactly. You can be weird as shit. Like, I'm weird as shit. And Miss Parker has me around because, well, I'm good at what I do. I'm good at research. And I also know how to be weird as shit. I am weird as shit. Not gonna lie. Like, y'all see my meds in the back. And I should probably be on them right now, but I'm not. We do what we do, and we have fun. It's great to be a petty person. And yes, no one likes Yato. He's a weasel. He has no shoulders. He steals lawns. He does the most with the least, and it's kind of worrying. Oh, you think BGTV is up to something? Is he sus? I don't think he's sus. I will expose right here, right now, for all you people watching, that Miss Parker is the one that stole Nova's edges. I know she blames me, because who the fuck is Mango Jones? But Miss Parker stole Nova's edges and sold her fake ones on Amazon. That's the thing. Nova has a unibrow. Remember that. Oh, over in the Petty house, though, Nova is Miss Parker's baby daddy. That's a whole thing that's happening. Follow Miss Parker on Twitch. Yes, exactly. Thank you. Miss Parker stole Nova's edges. It's a whole thing. It's terrible. Actually, that reminds me. There we go. I had to let Miss Parker know. She sold Nova edges, and she sold Nova fake ones on Amazon. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Okay, so Fate and Curvy is only in charge of the Unchained Maidens. Kinda. Most of that responsibility goes to Anna Haven. We are a family. We're this big pansexual weird ass family, and we love each other, but we also talk shit on each other. Like, Miss Parker put out there that I kick puppies, and DC and all of them ran with that. Like, I kick puppies, apparently. Who knew? Not me. But DC and Negs are absolutely convinced that I owe Negs $500 and I kick puppies. Oh my god. Okay. You hush. Lizard, no. Lucy and Bifus are not famished. Sasha is famished. Mom finger point. Oh yeah. She was. Look. When you're bankrolling a dude that lives in his grandma's attic, you kinda sorta can't afford to get really nice extensions done. Anyway. So my trip next weekend is already bought and paid for. If you guys would like to donate to my beer fund for it, you can at #BabyKillerMango. But yeah. She was convinced about that. Sasha is not chunky. She just has her winter fluff. Okay? That's it. And no, you cannot hide the cheapness. Ever. I only recently realized how much hair I have when I went to, like, because I was sick as shit and I was dealing with all that, and it's just like, oh fuck, I have all of this hair. All of it. All of it. Granny Attic could only wish that she had this much hair. No, thank you, sweet potato. You're the sweetest. I love you. Yeah. Look. Okay, what she did to Fox execs is, like, between her and them, but the fact that you probably did that and then you did this whole, like, movie about them, oof. As long as you're not using cheap tape-ins. Girl, you do you. You rock that hair. You do what you need to do. You're the sweetest. You're absolutely phenomenal. And you're fucking gorgeous. Just saying. Okay, so I took my mom to therapy with me. Fun stuff. Um, my mom knows what she has done in my life, and we're working to it. But yeah, honesty is kind of a key there. Kind of a key. Oh look, here's the judge.
You may be seated.
Okay, but wait. To be fair though, uh, like my hair when I was born was super curly, then it became semi-straight. Now it's really curly again. Um, with the curly hair, go with not your mother's naturals. Uh, I use Curl Talk, and I also use the uh, hibiscus flower and mango shampoo. And that shit works wonders. My hair has been the healthiest it has ever been with the combination of the two. Absolutely recommend. Also, sleep with a bonnet because that shit will help prevent breakage and keep the moisture in. Yeah. Exactly. This is how we break generational trauma. This is how. We be open and we be honest. It's key.
You may bring the jury.
Oh, after this, I think I'm gonna have some ramen and egg. Okay, just so everyone's aware, I'm gonna be here for about another hour and 12 minutes, and then I'm gonna go make some ramen and egg. Because ramen and egg. Oh, so what I do is I get the water boiling, get the ramen in, and when it's about a minute out from being done, I crack an egg in it. I usually scramble the egg before I pour it in, but yeah, so that way it gets all cooked in the last minute. Yeah, it's really good. Some green onion, some lemon pepper seasoning. Shit's dope.
Thank you. You may proceed.
Be hungry, Mr. Fear.
Mr. Waters, if you all be seated.
And sweet potato pie.
Ms. Simpson, I think where we left off, let me,
Okay, I have never seen Emmy Made. I will have to look that up because in everything bagel in and of itself does have about half of your daily sodium intake. So the fact that she has a everything bagel ramen recipe, yeah, that makes me fear for my sodium just reading it. To be fair, though, I have eaten Cobes' potted meat nachos, took a nap, woke up, ate a plate of chicken and dumplings and mac and cheese, and then got on Miss Parker's stream. So, I think I could survive. Let's go. Oh, shit. Oh. Hold on. Let's make you a mod because you deserve that. Okay, so Bipolar, you are now a mod. Please drop that link for me because I am curious. And I want to have that, like, right meow. Fuck yeah. Adding that to my watch in the morning list. It is saved. Fuck yeah. Thank you. I appreciate you.
kind of try to refocus myself. I'm going to show you what's entered as state 7. Just, can you see those pence in state 7?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you recognize those
Can't
pants?
hear your response.
Yes, sir.
Okay. You recognize those pants in state 7?
Yes, sir.
And how do you know those? How do you recognize them?
I took care of the laundry.
Have you cleaned them?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Where were these pants kept in state 7?
The left dresser and the third drawer, third or fourth drawer.
You know
They
that-
weren't in the ones where, he had one drawer with shorts that he would usually wear on the weekends, you know, the dressier ones. Those were kept in the drawer underneath that specific drawer.
So you know what drawers these were in?
Yes.
If you know from being there and taking care of the clothes and taking care of the family, were these shorts he liked to wear a lot or not? Did you see him in these shorts much?
No.
And were these shorts clean the last time you saw them?
Yes.
Now, this shirt that's also in states 7, had you seen that shirt before?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Where was this shirt kept?
Now, keep in mind, the stills that he is currently showing are from the body camera footage of the officers when they first arrived at Moselle on June the 7th. So, that is what he looked like when those first officers arrived.
Kept in the closet at Moselle.
The top shelf, above where his clothes hang, the top shelf. There was a shelf up there.
And you've testified it looked like a shirt had fallen from that shelf when you got there on the morning of June 8th, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Was this shirt kept in that same place as the shirt that had fallen?
Yes, sir.
And the shirt that had fallen, what did you do with it after you picked it up?
I folded it back up and I placed it back on the shelf.
Was it clean?
Ma'am,
Yes, sir.
I understand that you all are apparently having a personal conversation, but you need to speak into the mic.
Yes, sir.
All right, look at me this way, I'm sorry. Had you cleaned this shirt, it's in state 7, prior to June 7th of 2021?
I probably did.
And where would it have been placed after you cleaned it? Where would you have put it?
Up in the closet if there was no more room in the drawer.
Okay, so when it comes to Emily D. Baker, look, I absolutely appreciate what she does, but at the same time, she practiced or does practice law within a certain area, and that does not necessarily coincide with the same type of law that Alex Murdaugh practiced. And it also does not coincide with the laws that are in place within the state of South Carolina. Because one of the things that the state of South Carolina does have is the Slayer statute. And something about the Slayer statute is that if you kill someone, if it is proven that you killed someone, the state will treat you as though you were deceased before the person that you killed. That way you cannot touch their estate. So when it comes to Maggie Murdaugh's estate, the state treats Alex Murdaugh, if he were found guilty, as though he died before her. Actually, because of previous paperwork that he filled out, the state treats him as though he died before she did. So he cannot touch Moselle. Moselle is being sold. Moselle has all of this stuff that's already happening with it. John Marvin Murdaugh is already being dismissed with prejudice from the estate. Like, it's a whole thing. I think that if you're going to cover a case, you need to look into and be familiar with the laws for that state. That is why I am very particular about my Google Drives. I only include what is necessary legal document wise, and I try my best to include 90% of the laws behind it for that state. My biggest issue is that she says it's fascinating all the time. It's not as fascinating as she likes to say it is. It's just the legalities are there, but they're not fascinating. They're just legalities. The legal law is the legal law. You know what I mean? Like, she sent out a tweet earlier about this particular testimony, and she was like, it's fascinating, it's fascinating, it's fascinating. She said it like 7 times in her tweet, and I was just like, are you sure it's fascinating? Yeah. I too appreciate the commentary. I really do. My hyper focus is always on the legal documentation, which is why my Google Drive, which is pinned at the top of the comments, is the way it is. I more so have a fascination with all of the motions and everything that are filed before we actually get to trial, because those motions and everything kind of dictate how the trial is going to go, what direction they're going to try and take. I don't know. Wait, AC, are you older than me? Because I think Emily D. Baker is from the same generation as me. I think she is a millennial. And yeah, we're kind of fucking weird. Millennials are weird as shit. Yeah, that makes sense. I respect it. You do you. I'm not gonna fault you for that. You like who you like. I don't know. I think maybe like her level of millennial is like right on the cusp of Gen X. Because like I'm mid millennial, I'm 92, I'm 30. My little brothers, they're cuspers of Gen Z. My small human, he is the first year of Gen Alpha. So my sense of shit is a bit different. Yeah. Okay, she's mid 40s. So she's right on the cusp of Gen X and millennial. Cuz my mom is 57. No, my mom's 54. Fuck. Yeah, my mom's 54. My mom is very much Gen X. Yeah. Cuz my mom's 54, my sister's 34, my brothers are 24. They're all turning 55, 35, and 25 this year. I'm turning 31. Yeah. And my Oma, small humans, Oma, is turning 75 this year. Yeah, so she's right on the cusp. So that's why some people that are like closer to my age don't really relate to her. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things. I've tried watching her, but I don't know. Something about her cadence and the way that she talks, just like, eh. Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I'm more so a hang out and talk type of person. I don't know. Okay, so you're a Gen Zer. Got you. Because my brothers that are about to turn 25, they are right on that edge of being almost millennials, but not quite. They grew up with me, and I taught them like a whole bunch of millennial shit. They have a whole bunch of my Pokemon cards. But I keep the main important ones over in my Battletoads notebook that y'all can't see. The whole thing. I mean, it can be abrasive, but at the same time, like, her style works for a lot of people, and that's fantastic. And as long as she keeps doing what she does, awesome. Emily Baker works for a lot of people, just not for me personally. Shit. I didn't know you were that old. Why are you watching me?
Now, could we please play States 306, please?
Now, see, I get that. What I do like to do, if you go back on my channel and you look at the Richard Allen case, who is the current person being charged with the Delphi murders, I did break down all of that legal paperwork. I do have streams where I break down legalese for people. The Richard Allen Google Drive is still open for anyone that wants to look at it. I do teach you how to go to the chronological court summary. I do have all of the paperwork that has been filed. I do have all of the legal terms and laws broken down for you. So that is a thing that I do. But I just do it in a different way.
Can you see, would you look right there at your monitor?
Here real quick.
Is there a picture of that when Mr. Mark?
Now, see, my therapist speaks to me in a very particular way because my therapist specializes in people with CPTSD from domestic violence situations. So, yeah. That's a whole thing. I am Mango Jones. I have mental health issues.
Okay, freeze it right there.
1000%.
Okay. Now, this, who's in the picture?
Alex,
And can you tell what kind of pants he's got on?
khaki pants.
Okay. Can you tell what kind of shoes he's got on from that, Miss Simpson?
It appears to be a pair of loafers,
Sperry's.
house shoes, loafers.
Okay, well, tell me what you mean by house shoes.
Just his shoes that he would usually wear around the house if he was wearing shoes.
So would he usually just wear them inside?
Yes, sir.
But these appear to be those shoes.
It appears to be, yes.
And this shirt that Alex Murdaugh is wearing on June 7th, depicted in States 306, had you seen that shirt prior to June 7th?
It was in the closet.
Okay.
Hey,
And
there you
What
go.
type of shirt is that?
A Columbia
You do what
shirt.
you need to do.
Columbia shirt.
Yes, sir.
Mine was
And how
assigned
many
to
of
me.
those type
Now she's
shirts
like
did
my
you
best
have?
friend. Love her to
He had a
pieces.
few in the closet.
And what color is that shirt?
Just like a greenish aqua seafoam color.
Why do you keep using the term seafoam? I'm not fussing, I'm just asking.
The term seafoam, when Maggie was looking at different color palettes to paint, that color came up in one of the color palettes. So we would refer to it as a seafoam. But that's the term that was used for that color in one of the color palettes that she had.
After June 7th of 2021, did you ever see that shirt again?
No, sir. There was like a pink one, a white one, a baby blue in the closet. I do not remember that shirt being in there.
And on June 8th of 2021, in the morning hours when you came back over there, was that shirt there?
No, sir.
Were these shoes that you called house slippers, were those there?
No, sir.
Did you ever see those house shoes again?
No, sir.
And where did he usually keep them?
In the closet.
Did he have any other type shoes? Canvas or any kind of boat shoes?
He had a lot of shoes in the closet.
Do you remember any shoes that were canvas type shoes?
The boat shoes, like the Sperry?
Spirit shoes?
Yes, sir.
And do you remember those?
Yes, sir. They used to sit in the closet.
They used to sit in the closet. After June 7th of 2021, did you ever see the Sperry boat shoes again?
No, sir, I do not recall seeing them in the closet.
Never, ever.
No, sir.
Did you stay on and work for a period of time for Alex Murdaugh at the Moselle?
Yes, sir, I did.
And did your day-to-day functions change after June 7th as far as Moselle itself?
Yes, sir, they did.
Well, tell them how that happened and what the change was.
After Maggie and Paul were killed, Alec did not stay on the property. On the 10th, when I believe his father passed away, after
Mr.
the,
Murdaugh.
yes, I believe after the service that we had for him at the cemetery, Alec called and asked if my husband and I would stay on the property because him and Buster were not going to be able to stay there. So we agreed to take care of the property and maintain it while he said until he decides what he's going to do with it.
And did in fact you and your husband start residing there for a period of time?
We did.
And what, were you paid for that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, do you mind telling them how much?
He would give me $1,500 a week to make sure that anything needed for the farm was taken care of. And my husband and I would maintain cutting the grass on that property, which is a lot of grass out there. And it would take in excess of 2 days to cut.
Would you cut it?
Yes, sir. I would help my husband.
Were you also taking care of the dogs?
Yes, sir.
Tell these folks, what were the dogs' names?
Grady and Bubba.
Grady and Bubba.
Yes, sir.
You fed them?
Yes, sir.
Took care of them?
Yes, sir.
Where is Bubba? What's today? Whatever today is, where's Bubba today?
He's with me.
So you have Bubba in your home?
Yes, sir, I do.
Did Bubba have his own pen?
Yes, he did.
And I don't know if you've seen, but could, at some point, and I'll keep going to the video of, well, could we play that now, please, when we get to the video, the kennel video? Please? What is it?
Now, see, my therapist, she's very straightforward with me in the fact that she's not going to be there for me forever. And I'm just kind of like, okay. But she's been there for me for the last 7 years. So as long as I have her, I'm happy.
And Craig, before we get there, when, and I'm sorry, I'm going back to this real quick.
When Bubba was running around, if I or anybody, if the chickens were
John,
running
if
out
you're
of
wondering
the
where Mango
coop,
went,
he would
Mango
taste
did this
it.
thing because Mango has a gaming mouse where she hit the back button and completely removed herself from her own stream because she's a whole dumb. I'm dumb.
Chickens, and he would just go after the chickens or the guineas, whatever was out there.
And would you ever catch them?
Yes, he would.
And how would Bubba, the chicken, get out of Bubba's mouth? And
You have to make several attempts to get the chicken out of his mouth, and at points he would growl at you if you tried to take his toy. Basically, that's what he.
in your experience in being there, was it easier for a family member or somebody Bubba knew to get the chicken out?
If he's stubborn.
Talking about Bubba.
Yes, sir.
Okay. But would it take a period of time to get the chicken out of Bubba's mouth?
Yes, it would.
In August of 2021, Ms. Blanco,
Yes, sir.
did you have a conversation with Alex Murdaugh about a shirt?
Yes, I did.
And let's go back. Where did this take place?
At the little house.
All right. What do you mean, the little house?
After Paul and Maggie were killed, Alec was not staying at Moselle. My husband and I were, and he would often stay in different places. But all his clothes and toiletries.
Okay, to be fair though, AC, I have been highly distracted this entire time. I'm also off my meds. Yeah, that's the thing. But anyway,
And everything were placed in the house that sits between Mr. Johnny Parker and his brother Randy. There's a small 2-bedroom house right there, and that's where all his belongings at the time went.
And where is that located?
In Hampton.
Okay, in Hampton. And who furnished this little house with clothes and toiletries and made sure stuff was there?
wait, I'm sorry. What? No, look, RAR means I love you in dinosaur. I have a candle that says so. I used to be a scene kid. I used to do the whole hair thing. I have pictures. No. No. Absolutely the fuck not. No. 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 No.
I did.
And who was Alex Murdaugh staying there with when he stayed there? If anybody.
He never stayed there. He would just go and get his clothing and eat whatever, if he would have a snack or something. He wasn't really eating.
Well, during the month of August, do you remember him having a conversation with you about a shirt?
Yes, sir.
Did you find that to be unusual?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Tell them what the conversation was and why you found it unusual. Please.
He walked in to the little house, and I was getting ready to leave, and he said, "B, I need to talk to you." And he said, "Come here, sit down." So I went in the living room. I sat down, and he was pacing back and forth in the living room. And he said, "I got a bad feeling." He said, "I got a bad feeling." He said, "Something's not right." And then he said, "Well, there's a video. There was a video that was out. I hadn't seen a video." And he said, "You remember the shirt I was wearing, that Vinnie Vine shirt?" That's what he said to me. And in my mind, I was saying,
Okay. Bestie, if you're looking for a fight right now, it's not the time. Nope.
I don't remember Vinnie Vine's shirt. It was the polo shirt. But I didn't mention, he said, well, you know what, I was wearing that shirt. He said, you know, in the, that day. And still, I was just, I didn't say anything, but I was kind of.
Billy Talent was regional, goddammit.
I don't remember that. I don't
I
remember
will
him
die
wearing
on that
shirt
hill.
that day when he left. I know what shirt he was wearing because I fixed the collar, and the collar's a different material.
And I don't know what a Vinnie Vine shirt is. But when he left that day, was he wearing a Vinnie Vine shirt? Or was he wearing the collar you've described?
It was a polo shirt.
Polo. Just using your common sense, that it appeared to you he was trying to tell you to say, I was wearing the shirt.
I was the unfortunate, broken side, blood on the dance floor, Fallout Boy, Panic at the Disco, Scene Kid. That was the whole thing. Oh my God, no, that was very much in your area. Oh my God. We're not going to have this discussion again because we've had it multiple times. Oh, you're looking to fight? No. 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 No.
Objection is sustained. That's the formal question.
How did you take that conversation?
I felt confused at first, and then I know what he was wearing the day he left the house, and I was basically confused. I didn't really know.
Yeah, which is why they went to Ohio. Because you're pretty much Canadian.
If I was to be asked that was the shirt he was wearing the day.
Ms. Blanco. We'll show you what's marked 455, 457 for ID only. Do you recognize these, and do they relate to your testimony without saying what they are?
Yes.
Okay. On September 4th of 2021, did you have a conversation with defendant Alex Murdaugh?
I did.
Okay. And what did he ask you to do?
He asked me to send him a photo of the insurance cards.
And do you know what day of the week that was? And I'll go back here so you can talk. I'm sorry.
I don't remember the day. All I know was it's on my phone.
He asked you to send him a copy of his medical card?
Oh, it was on a Saturday morning.
Nobody fucks with
because the
Shania
next day
Twain.
was my daughter's birthday. That early that morning when he called me, he asked me, when I sent him the picture of the plastic insurance card, he said, no, I need the cardboard one. Well, the cardboard one was in Maggie's purse. It wasn't in the area where I usually kept the cards in the cabinet. So I told him, I said, it's in Maggie's purse. He said, well, go ahead and get the cards and send me a picture of them. And I asked him if he was okay, and he said, well, I'm just getting some routine exams done. He said, and I need the number so I could go ahead and schedule these appointments. And it was a Saturday because I was thinking, where's he gonna go to get appointments done on a Saturday. But I didn't say anything. I went and I took pictures and I sent them all the copies of the cards that I found.
Your Honor, we'd offer stage 455 and 457.
First of all, he consulted with me about this as he walked up to me a moment ago. I don't quite understand the relevance. Why him asking for, you want to tell me?
Talking to him,
I'm sorry, if he would just consult with me for a moment and tell me what the relevance is, but he hadn't told me.
With your permission?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we've been about this for about 3 hours. It is about 1:30 in the morning. I hate to do this, y'all, but I need to eat some food and go to bed. My small human is going to be up in about 3.5 hours. Ugh. But yeah, the Alex Murdaugh trial is getting sticky. And tomorrow night, I will be back, continuing where we left off from now. Same time, same place. Y'all know where to find me. I'm here. I do stuff like this. Yeah. Thank you all for being here. I absolutely love and appreciate every single one of y'all. Yeah. I will see y'all tomorrow night, same time, same place. We will do this again because tomorrow night I do not have Unchained Maidens. I am on Maidens every other weekend, except next weekend I will not be here. Next weekend I'm going to be out of town. So, love you all. I will see y'all soon. Y'all have a great night.